steakhouse in New York?
No, that's family name.
Is it an old family name?
Old family name. So Ambrose, there's been an Ambrose in every generation, and I think a lot of the sailors would have seen Ambrose with the bagpipes up in Newport. So that's my namesake, my alter ego.
That's so cool. I mean, it's unique. It goes back so far, almost like this rum that we're
Yep.
about to enjoy.
Yep.
So you are of the family. And
That's
we're
right.
in Bermuda, and this is your juice, the nectar of the gods here on the island, right?
Yep. So I'm Ambrose Gosling, 8th generation, part of the company, and yeah, part of the story. So since 1806, which is yeah, pretty cool.
When was this island established?
The island was established in 1609, so about 200 years later, the Goslings arrived. We chartered a ship from out of England called the Mercury. It was a 90-day charter. They made it as far as Bermuda. So their charter ran out. They headed for the nearest British port, which was St. George's, Bermuda at the time. And we never left. So set up shop, and here we are.
This is perfectly good.
Yeah, so a little slower sailing back then.
And a much better setup than the Pilgrims in the Mayflower, where it's like,
Yeah.
wow, it's cold here, but you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's
So
humidity around here.
once you land it, it's like, you know what? This is pretty good. We're
This is
gonna.
so good. All right, well, cool. I'm so glad you brought this because we've been doing these interviews since, well, I guess the crack of dawn Monday morning, and this is what we've been lacking.
Yep.
This is thirsty work.
Well, this
so,
is.
but yeah, the boats have been rolling in, and it is absolutely, well, it was, the bars open at 7, the bar here at 7 in the morning, and it was like, woof, the line was there.
Yep.
They knew exactly what they
Yep.
wanted, and we know what they wanted. So, my wife asked me, actually, have I had a dark and stormy yet this week
Oh.
since I've been here working? And I text back like, no, working.
Well, I think
haven't had a single one, and that's a
we can
shame.
certainly
So,
fix
yeah.
that.
So let's just get to the business first.
Cool.
We have this thing, right, that people just slaughter the dark and stormy when they mix it, right? So there is this
Yep.
proper layering that has to happen.
Yep.
And we had some discussion recently back in our office. So I'm going to ask you to make, it's the test, to make the perfect one.
Cool. Well, we
It's
can
all
make
in
the perfect
pour.
two.
All right, there you go. Oh yeah, perfect two. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
So
It's almost a little drink holder.
how you mix it, not necessarily mission critical. It's the rum you use, which is important. So it's a trademark of Goslings that a dark and stormy must be made with Goslings Black Seal rum. The reason there is, we've had sailors come down to Bermuda, visitors, they have a dark and stormy. They love it so much, they go back to the States or wherever they're from, they ask for a dark and stormy, and it's made with a different rum, tastes completely different, and they're like, what the hell is this? So we said, you know what? Let's trademark it. Let's make sure that every time you have a dark and stormy, it's the exact same dark and stormy that you're having while you're in Bermuda. So the way we pour this, our stormy ginger beer, it's a non-alcoholic soda. Just think ginger ale, but a little spicier. About 6 ounces.
You like a 3/4, huh?
Yeah,
Call that a-
3/4.
That's the 3-finger.
Yeah, so we do the 3-finger of the ginger beer, and then we'll do about a 2-finger of the rum on top. So
Proper. You've also got the old, right? Which is, we'll get to that in a minute. But
Yeah.
is it sort of like sacrilege to mix the old with the ginger beer? Is that better just on the ice and sipping, or is that just like an upgrade to the dark and stormy?
So the old rum is the same. Blend, same rum as this. It's just gone back into charred, once used bourbon barrels. So it sits for a further aging process, and then we bottle it again, and that's that we enjoy neat or in a Manhattan or some sort of spirit forward cocktail like that.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to have it with the dark and stormy, by all means. I think we'd still call that a dark and stormy.
Yeah, maybe like a dark and squally.
Yeah, there we go. So this is the pour here. So it was actually sailors. So it was the officers of the British dockyard up in Dockyard. So they started mixing the rum with the ginger beer, and the sailors here sort of noticed, poured on top, that looks like a cloud only a fool or a dead man would sail under. So hence dark and stormy. So what we do, normally do a little garnish of lime. We don't have lime, but that's okay. Just give it a little spin with the fingers.
Oh, you spin it.
and then you got your dark and stormy here.
Oh, see, I was okay. So here's what I was taught as a young lad. I think when I was 14 and had my first one, that particularly with this race, and this race is actually a perfect example. The big, I don't know if you saw the start, the big squall line front that went through at the start was super cool. And so the point is, you got to get through the storm to enjoy the sunshine when you get there at the end of the race, right? Did you know this? Yeah. So this was sort of the getting there, and the sunshine is the arrival here and the good stuff.
Yeah, we got plenty of that today.
So I prefer to do mine.
There you go. Yeah,
it goes
each
straight
their
up.
own. But
Exactly.
Cheers.
Yeah. Thank you. You don't know how much I've needed this since I got here first thing Monday morning.
I'm surprised it's your first one.
Shows my dedication to my work.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hard stuff. Like the boats have been arriving just at bizarre as any, all night long. And these 3 a.m. arrivals are pretty brutal. But well, that might have made things a little bit easier. So anyway.
Yeah, there we go.
So you guys started making your ginger beer recently, right?
This is fairly recently. So with our expansion into the U.S., the main, our bread and butter is the dark and stormy. So obviously, to make a dark and stormy, you need to have a high quality and available ginger beer. So in the States, there really wasn't a ginger beer that was available and that would match sort of the taste profile that we're after. So we've actually decided, you know what, let's make our own ginger beer and let's get it out there. And I don't know, I think it's a great ginger beer. It's got a nice spice to it and complements the rum perfectly.
You package it together, and I know the boxes at home, they started showing up together. You're like, well, that's your to-go pack. Yeah.
Yep. So 6-pack of ginger beer and a bottle of rum, and you're good to go.
And then you stepped up to the pre-made, which just makes everything pre-made easy.
Yeah. So the RTD, I think we're one of the first to go with the RTD. So that's all the rage these days. But
what's RTD?
Ready to drink.
Oh, yeah.
So just throw it right in your cooler, get it on ice, and it's good to go. So yeah, these are great. Perfect sailing drink. So Wednesday night sailing, you're out there sailing around the cans, and you're competing. You don't have time to make a dark and stormy. You can crack one of those instead.
Easy. Crack and go. I remember also as a young kid, man, I guess the influences I had were really terrible. That on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, J24, this woman named B, she would just take the top, Goslings always, and just flick it overboard, and it's like, well, okay, but now, out.
Yeah.
This sport is fun.
We're going to see it through.
So, what's obviously, you got to sail to the islands, but Gosling's connection to sailing and the sport in this event goes back quite a bit. I mean, where did the history, where in time did it connect with sailing?
I think it's always been there. Bermudians through the generations, since you had to sail to get here, and then sailing's always been a part of the way of life here. Mostly out of necessity, getting goods from St. George's down to Hamilton and to the other areas of commerce. And I think eventually that turned into competition, regattas, etc. But yeah, I think it's always been a part of the family. Our family's been involved here at the yacht club for generations. So I'm not sure exactly when our sponsorship of Newport Bermuda happened. Before my time. I remember the centennial. We were well established by then. So thoroughly enjoying the parties. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know exactly when.
Or just happened organically over time.
I think it did. We're synonymous with Bermuda, synonymous with sailing. I think it's just, as this race grew, we were looking to grow as well, and it's just a perfect match, really.
I imagine that was a pretty big connection with when the America's Cup was here as well.
Oh yeah,
you guys were everywhere.
Yeah,
and,
that was
about brand awareness, holy smokes.
That was a huge win for Bermuda, for Goslings. I think for sailing. It was unbelievable, and it was too bad Team USA couldn't quite pull it off. But the competition was great, and now we've got Sail GP, which we've been involved with as well, and just to see that legacy of the America's Cup continue in Bermuda, and just people be excited about sailing and sailing here. We just had the Clipper race here.
Yeah, how much did they go through? Because
quite a bit. We had to.
Sailors, yeah.
I mean, that was last week, and
Yeah.
so we, the staff here, they were frantically restocking ginger beer and black seal for Newport Bermuda. So you got to be well stocked here. So I think they put a little dent on it, but.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Not to worry. I think we've got it covered for the week here.
So, well, that said, do you have a secret stash that's buried in some of the caves, like just in case, almost like emergency rations of like when things go dry?
Yeah, when there's a need, there, we can make things, we can make it work. But yeah,
you're not gonna tell me where it is, all right?
No. Our bottling plant and our facilities are on Dundonald Street, just a few blocks away from here. So that's where most of the production, or where the bottling, the blending of the rums take place, and that's by and large where our warehouse facility is as well. And so yeah, just really up the hill. But yeah, if we're in a pinch, we can make a couple phone calls and.
You got a stash.
Yeah.
And can you do tours at the plant?
Unfortunately,
COVID
we don't. No, we'll the odd private tour here and there. It's just, I think a lot of people come down, they expect to see big copper stills, and it's important to note we're blenders of rum. So the rum actually comes up from the Caribbean. We'll blend it to an old family recipe, and then we bottle that blend, or we'll put that blend into a barrel to age further. So I think a lot of people, at least historically, before that messaging is really before we've gotten that messaging out, people, they expect to see big, your big whiskey distilleries or other rum distilleries where you've got the copper pot stills, and that just doesn't, we don't have that. We are aging more and more product, so we've got warehouses sort of full of barrels, which is pretty neat. And you get that aroma of the rum, and they sort of expand and contract with the weather. So there's definitely things to see, and I think as we sort of get more and more into that space, we'll reconsider the tours.
Stuff, yeah. Well, actually, the better tour would just be to like hit all the bars around Bermuda.
Yeah. So the old Dark and Stormy Trail. So we had for a while.
So what's if you were to come here on a not vacation, I just landed here on the boat, and I need to kill a day. What would be the tour? What would be the lap that you would do to make sure you had plenty of stops along the way?
Well, if you're coming by boat, I think the first stop is the Yacht Club here. They do a good Dark and Stormy, and then right down Front Street. I think it's going to be pretty tough to find a bad Dark and Stormy in Bermuda.
Yeah.
But there's, everyone's well versed. They've got the pour down. They've got the ratio down. They've,
been doing it long
they do a
way.
good Bermuda pour there. So I think, that would definitely be the start. Is the long Front Street there, and Swizzle Inn out towards the east. They're great. They're famous for their swizzle, but again, Dark and Stormies there are great as well. And out west, as far west as Woody's, Dockyard, they'll get you covered as well.
Cool. And so I thought somebody told me recently that actually, is Goslings the biggest exporter of product?
We are, yeah.
Wow.
So we are Bermuda's largest exporter.
That's amazing.
So in the
how
past,
much volume have you done so far this year?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we're, it's healthy. Our team down in the bottling plant have been busy, so it's and with the current logistics challenges, it's we've been having to operate on our toes a little bit, just scheduling the ships in, scheduling the ships out. So it's a lot of hard work's gone in with the bottling team and the logistics team. So they're doing a fantastic job, and
containers are going out. But the point, like all of us on the outskirts, to appreciate the effort that it goes to get the rums here, to get them blended, to get it out in the ships, to get it back out to all the bars around the world. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
And it's basically, and every single bottle of Black Seal rum has been blended by the same person.
Yeah.
So, it's truly is hand blended. There's one person doing it.
And who is that?
And so Alex Holmes is our our assistant master blender. So he is going to become. So he's learning from Kenny Simons, who is the master blender. Kenny is sort of transitioning his knowledge to Alex. Alex is really hands-on. He is the one that's up there. I'd like to say it's with a big wooden spoon, but it's a little more industrial than that. And yeah, so every single bottle, no matter where you're drinking in the world, it's come from here. It's been hand blended, and I think that's pretty exceptional. It's not a lot of other spirits can really say that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you've got with most things with the family name, just gives it that much more like authenticity, right?
Yeah.
So, you just got your name on it. Better be good, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's there's every single bottle, every batch, we keep a sample and make sure the quality control is there. And I mean, the recipes are, they're in a vault. It's tightly held secret. And the attention to quality is, you can't.
You'll never get a bad bottle.
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so Dark Storm is a one, but I will quiz you. So like, you can't drink a Dark Storm every day. At some point, you got to switch it up a little bit. So how do you switch it up? What's your other preferred Goslings drink? That's
so locally, we've got a few expressions that are just available in Bermuda. My favorite is the Goslings Amber Rum. So again, only in Bermuda. It's a sort of a lighter style rum, a gold amber rum. Yep. It is, I guess, somewhat similar to sort of a Bayesian style. There's a blend of a couple different islands, so it's not quite Bayesian, but it's it's a lighter rum. I actually just drink that with water, and then locally, we collect our water from our roofs, so we just call it a rum and rain. A little squeeze of a lemon in there, and I mean that's perfect. And you're hydrating while you're drinking, so it's it's a win when you're trying to keep up with these guys down here.
All right, and to the race. You have yet to have a Goslings race entry, so I'll lay the gauntlet down here that at some point in time, I think you need to skipper your own 60-foot race boat into.
That would be pretty cool. It's the race has been on my bucket list. Avid sailor. Grew up sailing here. Sailed in the States, both in high school and in college. And on the local race circuit here. But I've done offshore on the Spirit of Bermuda. That was pretty neat, going from Bermuda to the Azores onto Europe. Cool. But yeah, the races, that's bucket list. So every year it's about Christmas time, and I'm like, oh, this year's Newport Bermuda, and kind of by that time it's a little too late. So I think maybe that's the way we make it happen, is we get
You start your planning today.
We'll start today. We'll start saving some pennies, get ourselves a Gosling spinnaker, and hopefully someone will be out there and willing and able to take us along.
Take you and take along. And what would you name that boat? Pause for a minute, right?
I mean, it's got to be some play on seal or black seal.
I'll let you think about it.
Yeah.
So when we see the entry in the next race, we'll know what you came up with eventually.
Yeah.
So cool.
No, it'll be thinking like the Latin name of a seal or something like that. There we go.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, cheers. No, pleasure.
And more than anything, thank you very much for bringing provisions to the story table.
Of course, and
I think those will definitely make the rest of the day go much more smoothly.
No. Hopefully you get a bit more content out of your interviews. But cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
And
thank you very much.
congrats to all the sailors.
Good.
Cheers.
That is good.
One more cheers. Cheers.
See how fast mine goes down?
That's good.
Tastes good.